Hey everybody, welcome to my very first Q&A video. The weekly beard, the man behind the beard. Today I have with me Jacob.
Hi.
And Byron.
What's up?
They're helping me out today in the video because, as you guys know, I have absolutely no experience in video editing. Yeah. So today we're doing questions just about me or things about me that might be interesting to you guys. Hopefully. We'll find out. Jacob, first question.
So Chase, we're going to start off with your background a little bit. Have you always lived in Kansas City?
I have always lived in Kansas City. I have lived in Kansas City for, my entire life. I was born and raised here in Shawnee, and I have lived in the same house for 21 years.
Wow, fascinating. Next off, we have, why the beard?
Well, you see, when I was younger, my dad, I'd always see these pictures of him in, from his wedding, and all these other things, and he had this glorious beard. And I was always like, I want that. That's so cool. How does that work? And then I got older, and I started growing this really, really bad stubble mexi stash that just looked terrible. I'm like, well, at least now I know I can grow something. And then I got into high school and into ROTC. I was in there for all 4 years, and I had to shave every single day. And then it just kind of started growing in and growing in and growing in. And then I grew it out after high school, and I fell in love with it. It's a lot of fun.
I'm going to go with this one right here.
Okay.
What scares you the most and why?
What scares me the most and why? I don't really fear for my own life. Actually, I fear more for my friends and my family. So I guess what scares me the most is losing my friends and family. Because, I don't know, I've always been not afraid of being alone necessarily, but afraid of being forgotten, possibly as well.
Next off, we have, tell me about the worst punishment you had when you were a child.
Okay, the worst punishment I had when I was a child. Well, I mean, I was raised in a home where I was spanked for doing things wrong. Now, some of you viewers may not agree with spanking, and you may get upset with me. I don't really care. To me, it worked great. It really instilled this fear of doing things bad because it would just mess me up. I mean, it would cause an effect, punishment. So the worst punishment that ever happened actually was not carried through. I was acting up like the little brat I was when I was a kid, and we were at a restaurant or at a business or whatever, and my dad took me into the bathroom and started to pull off his belt. Now, mind you, my dad has never touched me with a belt. He's barely touched me with a paddle. That was usually mom. But when I saw that belt coming off, I started weeping and crying in terror. I'm like, I'm sorry. Now, mind you, I love my dad. He's the best man in the world. But that just meant that I was being that bad that he had to pull off his belt in a public place. He only got 2 belt loops off before I fell to the ground crying. But, yeah, that was probably the worst punishment. It was almost self-inflicted.
Special request question by Brian Morin. Boxers or briefs?
Compression shorts.
Oh, that works too. There you go. So we know that you're in college right now and you're getting into welding. Why
Yes.
welding?
Well, I was back in high school, and in middle school, I was going into carpentry. I took all the woodshop classes I possibly could, and I fell in love with it. It's the ability to take something and create something from it, from bare minimum materials, and then make something out of it. I fell in love with that aspect, and then I was thinking, okay, what kind of job can I go into? I looked into carpentry. It is not very, it doesn't make much money right now. Excuse me. It doesn't make much money right now, so I looked into welding, and I've always had people tell me that welding is very lucrative, it makes good money, And I looked into it. I took a intro to welding class, fell in love with it. And I kind of just kept going from then.
Tell me about something you would happily do again.
Something I would happily do again. I would happily go on a road trip with friends. Not really, I mean, we had a destination last time, but I would love to go on a road trip, not knowing the destination, and just kind of experience life together.
What would be harder for you? To tell someone you love them or that you do not love them back? Implying that they told you that they love you, but you're not telling them that you love them back. Yes.
Ooh. That's actually a hard one. Because I've never experienced the latter of having to tell somebody that I don't love them back. So I feel like that would be harder to do. I'm a very loving guy. If you know me in person, you know I love everybody I meet, no matter how irritating they can be, because heck, I'm irritating as crap sometimes. But I just have a heart for people, so it would be easy for me to tell somebody I love them if I really meant it. But it'd be harder for me to tell somebody and break their heart saying that I don't love them back. So I guess that's my answer.
Tell us, what is the Forge?
Well, for those of you who live in my area or have heard me talk about a Bible study I'm part of, we finally came up with a name, and it's called The Forge. And it's basically a college Bible study where we get together every week on Thursday, and we just fellowship together. We do. We learn about God, we learn about the Bible, we dive deeper into these heavy questions that people may or may not be able to get answers from other people, because let's be honest, some people's maturity isn't the best. You know me, my maturity is not the best all the time. But it's an environment where we can come together as mature people who understand other people's ideas and will openly listen to them, and then be able to answer questions that people may or may not have, that usually they're afraid to ask because of ridicule or other things like that. It started out about 2 years ago, I think. No, I may be wrong on that. But our church originally had a college Bible study, or a college ministry called The Upper Room, which I was a part of, and so was Aaron and a few of our other friends. And then it got shut down due to reasons. And then one of my mentors, Kyle Raggard, started up another Bible study and small groups, and then it built from there. And then we split up because he was having a baby, and Abe is cutest little baby. But we split up, and Aaron, you guys know Aaron from a good amount of my videos and our other channel, he started leading one of our small groups, which turned into The Forge later on, and it's just continued to grow. We started out with 6 people, I think, and now we're up to 20 or more weekly. Yeah, if you guys are ever in the area, if you guys are in Kansas, for those of you, my viewers who like to watch, who are not already my friends who watch from here and already go to The Forge, you're more than welcome. Message me and I'll let you know where it's at and when.
Who is your role model, or who is one of your role models, and why?
Well, I mean, the obvious answer is my father and my mother. They raised me through all the craziness, never really let me realize whether or not we were doing good on financially and all this stuff, but always made sure I had what I needed. To this day, they do their best to make sure I have what I needed. And they've taught me so much in my life. Ethan Bunce, who is now one of the worship leaders or worship members at Radiant Church, is one of my mentors, or was one of my mentors. I have many a mentor. Heck, Kyle. You guys know Kyle, I think. I don't know, he may not have been in one of the videos, but Kyle Dean, he's one of my mentors, and he's one of my best buds. He's a brother to me. it's just, we almost mentor each other in our group because all of us come from different backgrounds and all of us have different views on life. So we were able to mingle those ideas and help each other through them. That may or may not have been an answer to the question, but yeah.
Now we're going to have a little bit of fun with this next one.
Let's do it.
What is the most embarrassing moment of your life, Chase Scott?
One of the most embarrassing moments of my younger life was in 5th grade or 6th grade. We went out on a fishing trip at Maranatha Academy, and I had my own fishing pole, and my dad was one of our chaperones or whatever, and I was casting and all this stuff and having fun. And then my friend Amani Deshe, love you guy, he was like, here, let me try. So he takes my rod and he goes back to cast, but he overcasts and he releases the string on the backstroke. And the fishing hook ended up going into our friend Marissa's shoulder. Not only did it go into her shoulder, but he pulled on it. And went into the skin. So it was more embarrassing because it was my fishing pole, but she was screaming and I felt so bad. But not only after that, my dad had to then go to the truck, get some pliers, push the fishing hook through the other end of the skin, cut off the hook, and pull it back out. And she was crying because it doesn't feel good. But yeah, that was one of the funnier, embarrassing moments of my life.